Hey there, welcome to the channel. Greetings from Koh Samui. I'm actually recording this video on my new Xiaomi 15T Pro phone, which I just bought a couple weeks ago while I was in Bangkok, and I just want to test it out and see what the video quality is like. This is 1080p, 60 frames per second. I usually record these on my little Pocket 3 Mini, but in this one I just wanted to test out the new phone. So it's a game changer for my content. Highly recommend picking one of these up. It's about 25,000 baht, brand new with a 1 terabyte hard drive. So definitely a good investment. And in this video, I just wanted to go through and share some of my thoughts on the cost of living crisis, because I've been watching more and more of these videos that are constantly popping up in my feed on YouTube recently of people that are talking about just, how expensive everything is getting, typically in the US, although I've watched some from Canada and parts of Europe as well. And a lot of times I just find myself scratching my head like, what are they complaining about? Because over here in Thailand, the inflation level is not going up significantly. You can still go out and get a great meal for anywhere from about 80 to 150 baht for one person. And the rent is not, I still pay 20,000 baht a month here at my brand new one-bedroom house in Samui, which is generally regarded one of the more expensive places to live in the country. I'm not really seeing that the prices are going up significantly. And for me personally, that's a net overall positive. There are other things that I have to worry about here, such as, visa-related matters, and that's about it, basically. I don't really find myself stressing out that much on a day-to-day basis. And also, I do not have a 9-to-5 job, so it's not like I have to go into the office every single day just to get by. I'm basically making money through this YouTube channel, and then I've got a second YouTube channel as well, teaching people how to build AI automations to save time and money for their business. So I think that one's going to continue growing. I don't see AI slowing down anytime soon. So these are what I call digital assets, things that you can leverage in order to generate an income from essentially anywhere in the world, although I choose to call Samui my home base. I think this is going to become increasingly important as more and more people are losing their jobs to AI. I think I just saw the other day that UPS laid off like 48,000 employees because they're being replaced by robots, essentially, is what it's coming down to, as well as Amazon. They're laying off some of their delivery drivers. And I don't see any reason why this would continue slowing down. If anything, it's just going to continue accelerating, right? Because if you think about it from the perspective of, a multi-billion-dollar company, it doesn't really make sense to hire and train an entire workforce of employees if they can just be replaced by an AI system that is essentially just going to be working 24/7. It doesn't need to eat, doesn't need to sleep, never gets sick. So you have to kind of put yourself in their shoes to a certain extent to understand why this is happening. But at the same time, my heart really goes out to all of these employees that are losing their jobs. And it's just going to become more important to be an entrepreneur and figure out a way to make a living on your own. So essentially, you're building your own dreams instead of getting hired to build someone else's dreams. This is one of my favorite quotes. I don't know who said it. I think it was Calvin Coolidge, possibly, but he said, "Build your own dreams or someone will hire you to help build theirs." And for me personally, I've always chosen to go use the former path and just build my own dreams, right? Because I don't really see the point of being employed, although I have been in the past, right? I've had jobs at various companies over the years, and it's just never been for me, right? Once an entrepreneur, always an entrepreneur, and that's the fact of the matter, right? So I prefer to teach people these valuable skills, such as building AI automations and working remotely, finding some way to use Geoarbitrage, so essentially going somewhere with a cheaper cost of living and a better quality of life in many ways, while earning a Western salary. So this is becoming more and more increasingly, it's becoming more popular for digital nomads. You've got people working from cafes in Da Nang, Vietnam, spending a small fraction of what they would in the States. And I think this is going to just continue accelerating, right? So I've spoken at quite a few Nomad conferences over the past few years. I spoke at one in El Nido, Philippines. That was 2 years ago now. And then also Da Nang earlier this year, there was a Nomad conference there. And Bangkok 2 weeks ago as well. So this is kind of something that I like to do is, yeah, just go to different digital nomad conferences and share my knowledge and kind of like inspire people. Most of those people are already digital nomads though. So I'm kind of preaching to the choir, if you will. But at the same time, I also like to inspire people through this YouTube channel. I've got over 1,000 videos on here now, and I've been running this channel for 5 years. It does pay the bills, sort of, to a certain extent. It's still not nearly to the level that I want it to be. But luckily, with this second YouTube channel that I've launched, I think in the first month, it will be making more than this channel is after 5 years. So that just goes to show the importance of choosing a profitable niche. I think, everybody's talking about AI these days, and we'll see if it's a bubble, right? I mean, it's possible that everything could fall apart and the whole thing could come crumbling down. I hope that doesn't happen for many reasons, notwithstanding that they've already laid off a huge swath of the workforce. And then, if AI just falls apart, then these people are going to be without work. Maybe they're going to have to start rehiring again. But fact of the matter is, I don't really see that happening anytime soon. And I'm just going to continue teaching people these skills. So if you guys want to check out my second channel, it's just called AI Automation Station. And then I also have a school community, which is completely free to join. I also offer paid plans as well if you want access to additional resources. And that's also just same name, AI Automation Station. I think it's really, really important to be learning these skills moving forward, because you can essentially become irreplaceable if you know how to use these tools. Not just ChatGPT. ChatGPT just scratches the surface of what you can do. There's other tools called Make.com and NAN, which I would highly recommend if you're looking to start automating your business. Get started with Make.com. It has less of a steep learning curve, and it's just a really good way to get started. And then from there, you can start delving into NAN, which is a little bit more complicated, although relatively simple as well. And there's so many tutorials out there available on YouTube where you're watching this now as well. So there's really no excuses not to be learning these skills and start applying them so that you can essentially run your business on autopilot. And it gives you a lot of leverage as well. So leverage is really key in terms of not only just making your money work for you, but also setting up systems and putting them in place that will just do everything for you, essentially, right? It doesn't really make a lot of sense to hire virtual assistants, like a whole team of VAs in the Philippines, paying them, $11 to $15 an hour or whatever, if you could basically just build a single automated system that will run 24/7 for you. So I've already started building out a lot of these in NAN, and then I'm just teaching others these skills as well. So essentially, I'm building in public. I'm documenting the process as I'm going along. It's not always easy, right? And that channel is not yet monetized, but it will be hopefully in another month. And then that's just going to be an additional digital asset, as I call it, digital asset that I can fall back on. And it will just pay every single month. Then I've also got the Facebook page with about 180,000 followers over there. And that's another example of something that just pays every single month. It's not a ton of money, but the fact of the matter is you don't need to be making a ton to have a pretty good lifestyle over here in Thailand, even in a place like Samui, which is, like I may have mentioned earlier, one of the most expensive places to live in the country. There's other places you can go as well, such as, Bangkok, which is great. I mean, I just was recently in Bangkok for about a week, and it really grew on me this time because there's just so many things that you can do there. You've got everything at your doorstep, world-class shopping malls, excellent hospital care, very convenient public transportation. You got the BTS, the MRT, so you can pretty much get around anywhere in the city within 15 to 30 minutes, depending on where you're going. And they even have connections up to the airports as well, so you can just take a train up there if you don't want to get in a taxi. So a lot to love about Bangkok. And then also Chiang Mai, which is even more affordable. That's, one of the digital nomad havens in Thailand. But for me, it's just become too overrun at this point. And I also need to be somewhere very close to a beach. This is pretty much non-negotiable for me these days. Don't really want to live in the cities all that much anymore. Bangkok's actually really polluted right now. The PM 2.5 levels are unhealthy during this time, and I actually got back just before the pollution levels started going up. So pretty grateful to be here in Samui. The air quality is excellent. You can go walk on the beach anytime you want. I was just getting my morning coffee earlier after working out at the gym, so I've kind of got my morning routine carved out over here. And then I'll typically come back home because I mostly just work from home, or I go to coffee shops from time to time as well. But I have a nice sized monitor in my home office, so I find that I'm a lot more productive working from home. And I can also sit in the air conditioning and just stay cool in the room. So it works really well for me. And like I said, I mean, I just made a video 2 days ago talking about my plans to go back to the States. This will most likely be in February because I haven't seen my family for 6 years, believe it or not. And they haven't come over here this entire time either. So most likely I'm just going to go back in February to visit for like a month, maybe a month and a half tops. I think that's about all I'm going to have in me. And then my mom's probably going to come back with me to Thailand. So essentially, once I get my non-O marriage visa set up, then I can safely go back to the U.S. and I don't have to worry about getting denied entry or anything when I come back to Thailand, because they are cracking down on the visa exemptions now. So you're only going to get 60 days when you come in, and then you can do 2 land border crossings in a year. So you get 30 days, and then the second one is only 7 days. That's the extension. I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments if you guys know. But yeah, it's not really sustainable anymore to be doing visa exemptions. It's possible they're going to change the rules again because the government and immigration tends to be a bit wishy-washy over here. So they're constantly changing the rules. But we'll see if this one sticks. It's anyone's guess, right? So just stay up to date on these things. There's one guy that I like to follow on YouTube. His name's Cal, and he makes videos just documenting going through all of the new rules and immigration policies. And he even talks about the war in Cambodia versus Thailand as well, which has just recently flared up again. It's very unfortunate to see this happening once again, especially after the ceasefire, which was signed in Kuala Lumpur just 2 months ago. They've already broken the ceasefire. And I don't want to get into politics too much in this video, but essentially it comes down to nobody really knows what's going on, right? At the end of the day, and one side's pointing the finger at the other, and it's just a mess, right? So I try not to follow it too closely, but I was watching some news articles last night just covering the situation. The fact of the matter is there's really nothing I can do about it at the end of the day, and it's still very safe unless you're in one of those border towns up by Cambodia like Sao Cao. I'm not pronouncing that. I'm definitely butchering the name. Sao Cao, something like that. Or Sisaket. Some of these areas up by the Cambodian border are not the safest places to be. And I think 50,000 people have been forced to evacuate and go to safer parts in the country, which is very unfortunate. It's affecting the people not only in Thailand, but also Cambodia. And there's been many losses of life as well. So it is a bit depressing to see what's going on up there, but hopefully it's all resolved relatively soon without too many more deaths. I can just send positive vibes and hope everything gets sorted out. But for me, I prefer to just focus on living my own best life, and then obviously taking care of my fiancée, soon-to-be wife as well. We're going to be getting married later this month. And I just like to stay positive as much as possible. Hopefully you guys enjoy my videos. I try to keep it really down to earth and positive at all times without getting stuck in the weeds. So feel free to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And yeah, I just wanted to test out my new phone on this video, talk about some of the things that are on my mind. So hopefully you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, stay safe. Peace from Thailand. Signing off.